Houthi rebels in the Red Sea, armed conflict in Gaza, skirmishes in South Lebanon, Iran and its proxies are working tirelessly to strike at the heart of American and Israeli interests. From lethal attacks on US forces in Jordan to precision strikes at Israel, the goal is clear: the complete expulsion of American influence from the Middle East. Some lawmakers in the West are now looking for chinks in the armor to strike back. However, Iran has held roughly the same borders for over 500 years. It has fought nearly all superpowers at their respective zeniths and lived to tell the tale. Think of the Romans, the Arabs, the Turks, the Russians, and the British, to name a few. Quite simply, fighting Iran head-on is a terrible idea. It could backfire disproportionately. Not only does the country operate an extensive network of Shia military proxies, but even inside its own boundaries, a conventional invasion would be a Herculean task. Tehran has constantly demonstrated its ability to withstand invasions, making it almost impossible to subjugate. But why is that? What makes Iran so tough? Is it just mountains, or is there more to it? To find out, we need to dive deep into what makes the country tick and how it evolved to its current configuration. We need to look more closely at the surface because geography reveals the soul of a nation. Iran is defined by its mountains. Its topographic peaks form the country's walls and encase its cities, with the most important being the Zagros Mountains. To the southwest, the Zagros gently slope down into Iraq, and to the north, they form an almost impassable border with Turkey. The only section of the western border not guarded by topography is protected by the marshes, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers converge. Looking north, the Alborz Mountains provide another natural border, while a ribbon of lesser peaks curls around Iran's east, marking the borders with Afghanistan and Pakistan. The sea forms the final wall of the castle. Iran's coastline stretches nearly 2,500 kilometers and is split roughly between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. Bandar Abbas, Iran's most crucial port, stands sentinel midway along the Strait of Hormuz, an artery through which about a fifth of the world's petroleum pulses. Concurrently, the Strait of Hormuz is Iran's chief geopolitical leverage. Should Tehran decide to make good on its threat and disrupt the flow of fossil fuels, the global economy would be shaken to its core. This then gives Iran substantial bargaining power when negotiating with its peers. However, when left at peace, the strait confines Iran to land power since it lacks a competing port along the Gulf of Oman that can rival Bandar Abbas. In all, geography not only serves as a boundary but also cradles the majority of Iran's 90 million citizens. Enclosed within its borders, the Kavir and Luth deserts form vast barren plateaus that cluster the populace within a highland belt. Historically, this topographical anomaly has made Iran incredibly tough to subjugate. However, like so many things in Iran, reality cuts both ways. While the mountains protect Iran, they also contain it. Westward expansion tends to lead to conflicts with powerful empires. Think of the Russians, the Turks, the Arabs, and the Romans before it. And when Iran does somehow manage to expand westward, it usually grants autonomy to the conquered territories. This strategy is mainly due to the logistics of mountainous terrain, which makes policing distant regions both challenging and expensive. Gerrymandered autonomy is a strategy as old as the Persian Empire, which maintained its culturally diverse territory by granting self-governance to its vassals and client states. Fast forward to today, and we see a similar pattern. Iran's power projection now relies on a network of primarily Shia proxy groups, each operating with varying degrees of independence. While these proxies are not direct conquests, they serve as extensions of Iranian influence.
آنچه در مورد ما میگویند